Okay, 7:05. All right, welcome everybody. So we have, how many people do we have? We have 16, I think, online, including ourselves. So today we're gonna just kind of keep it light and short. So thank you for joining uh, from as far as away as you are. So today we'll have kind of three short talks from myself, Jerome, and Gui, who I'll introduce in a moment, and then we'll have breakout Q&A, and then we'll close it off. So the way today's session is kind of formatted is just to give you a taster for kind of collaboration tools which you may or may not be familiar with, and also just for each of the three of us to share kind of tips and tricks of what we've learned before COVID and during COVID. So the three of us, I'm Z, so I'm the organizer for tonight. I'm an organizer at Agile Malaysia. I'm also an Agile coach and trainer. We also have Jerome. So Jerome is that Lego-looking feller. He's also, yeah, he's doing this right now. So that's Jerome. So he's an Agile coach based in Singapore. And then we have Gui. Say hi. Yeah, he's an engineering manager with Service Rocket. Okay, so I'll just kick it off first, in no particular order. So, okay. So firstly, this is a live Q&A. So the Slido is already open. So if you've never used Slido before, you can just go to your web browser on your phone, on your desktop, and you go to www.sli.do. So the link is up at the top. And once you open it, you just have to key in the code, which is Agile MY0520 to enter the Slido. So once you enter the Slido, you can ask questions, you can upvote other people's questions, and feel free to ask questions throughout the session, and then we'll answer this as we go along, or at the Q&A at the end of the next session. All right, so I'll just give you a moment to go to Slido, and then put in the code Agile MY0520. So I'll also put this into the chat, so you can see it there. Okay. All right. So, oops. First talk, mine. All right. So, just gonna pass you my tips today. So one of the things I have to do, even before COVID-19, was work with distributed teams, and one of the pain points is how do you recreate kind of the collaboration and interaction when you're physically not in the room. So one of the things that I like to impart on you today is actually know your tools. So we've been using, I've been using Zoom for a while, and then even looking at Zoom, there's still a lot of features that I have not used. So I'm just gonna share with you some of the more interesting things that I found recently. So the first thing is your breakouts, right? So breakout rooms allow you to create smaller little rooms where people can have conversation. So in a typical workshop, even what you can do is I'll break you into groups, right? So you could have 4 people to a table and you have a table discussion. That's a lot harder to do when you're in Zoom, especially if I'm looking at the screen now. There's almost like 20 people right now. And how do I create tight, small spaces where you can have small discussions? So Zoom has a feature called a breakout, which I will use later today, so you can actually experience a breakout. Yes, I hope that still works. The second thing is there's a Zoom whiteboard. So if you go to Zoom, and if you're the host, you can write it, or if you're the host, you can give other people the use of it. So what I'm doing now is I'm joined with my iPad right here. You can see my iPad, right? And you can use a mouse to draw on it. But one of the things I really like is if you have an iPad, the pencil actually works really well. So I can go, hello, right? Which is pretty cool. You can draw on it. You can create a new whiteboard. You can erase. And you can give other people the ability to write as well. So this at least gives you the opportunity to simulate some sort of whiteboard. The other thing to keep in mind is how do you make things interactive? So one of the things to use is the chat window, right? So in Zoom you have chat, and I think in other video conferencing tools now you have chat. So if you're not familiar with chat, I would like for you to actually use the Zoom chat right now. So I'm gonna ask a question, and please answer me in the chat. So my question is, where are you calling from? Or where are you joining this conference from? So please take a moment to kind of type that into the chat window. Susan's where here? Yeah, where are you right now? I see. YC is calling from a Windows 10 machine. Right. So this is one of the ways you can still create interactivity. One of the challenges with video conferencing is because of the latency, sometimes you talk over each other. So don't underestimate that little chat window that you can use to create a little bit of interactivity with your participants. The other thing is polls. So in fact, I only found out that there's this feature in Zoom a couple of days ago. So what I'll do now is I'll launch a poll. Right. So please take a moment and answer that poll. Okay, so I see that everybody has voted, so I'll end polling, and I'll share the results. All right, so we have about 63% of people living in the internet right now. And then only 1% is about half and half. So yes, we're welcome to the internet generation. So you can use the polls here to kind of keep people engaged. There are different types of polls. There's even software out there called like Mentimeter or even Slido that has other types of polls that you can use to just bring a little bit more interactivity to your presentations, to your workshops, your trainings, kind of anything you're doing online, just to spice things up. Okay, next Q&A. So today we're using Slido. So I see right now that there are no questions in Slido. So I would like right now if you could just log into Slido. Let me. So here's the code again, and just gonna say hi from Slido, or ask a question if you do have one. Someone asked, "What is the universe?" Well, the answer is 42. If you have a Hitchhiker's Guide. Okay. So this is another way of creating lots of feedback loops and creating interactivity for your online presentations. Okay. Someone asked, "Is it safe to use Zoom now?" I think we can pick that up later. Okay. Virtual whiteboards. So I showed you earlier around using the Zoom built-in whiteboard. There are also kind of whiteboards on steroids. So one of the tools I've used heavily recently in the past was real-time board. Now it's called Miro. So for those of you who know Miro, it's an amazing tool, but you do there's a free tier, but if you want to get more of the features out of it, it's more expensive. So you could be asking, hey, all these tools are great, but I have to pay money for it. So are there alternatives? Yes, there are. There's this thing called Jamboard. So if you, it comes with Google Drive, G Drive. So most of you probably will have a Google account, use a G Drive. So if you can go and create your own Jamboard. So I do have a Jamboard right now. So if you were to go to, so I'm going to put the link into the Google chat. So it's a bit.ly. If you just tap on that link in the chat, it'll bring you to a Jamboard. So you can do it from your phone, you can do it from your desktop, and you should see like a virtual space where you can draw on it, you can add sticky notes, you can even add an image. So just take a moment to add something to the board. You know, so maybe the question is, how do you feel right now? So just kind of put something on the board that represents how you feel right now. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. I did it.
Z, do you have to arrange those manually, or can we arrange it?
Everybody has full edit rights, so
Oh, okay.
please just don't delete stuff. But you can edit it.
Got it. Thanks.
Someone has lit, but you're covering half the board. Yeah, who is that? That is the bird-looking thing. Anonymous Goose is lit. All right, so I'm gonna draw something on there. Hello. All right, so you can use these kind of boards to run exercises, to collaboratively create something. The really nice thing about Jamboard is it's free, and it's fairly intuitive to use. Right? Okay.
I have a question. Is this part of the Google stack?
It is. It is.
Okay.
So there's lots of stuff that's kind of part of the Google ecosystem that's actually free. So and Jamboard's one of them. Yeah. And the really nice thing about Jamboard is you don't really need a beefy machine or installing an app to use it. So Miro and real-time board, once the board gets a little complicated, it does require a pretty reasonable machine to run smoothly. Jamboard's pretty light. All right, so I'm gonna move back to the presentation. So the Jamboard will be there for the rest of the evening for you to play with. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, so just to wrap it up, what to watch out for. So all these tools are kind of cool, but what I found out this morning was you really have to keep it simple. So this morning I went through an IC Agile trainer authorization for remote delivery. And every single new tool I introduce just creates a little bit more complication for me to manage. Just to share right now, I have 3 screens open just to run tonight's session. Right. I'll take a picture and let's see how I can share this. I'll share this probably later.
In the chat, you can share it in the chat of Zoom because you can attach file for everyone.
Okay. I'll try doing that when Jerome's speaking. But I basically have a 3-screen setup right now, and I'm barely kind of making sure everything's running smoothly, right? So basically, on one screen I have the presentation. Another screen I'm putting it such that I see what you see, just to make sure that I have the right screen open. And then on my third screen, I have a chat window, I have Slido, and I have the Zoom gallery view, so I can see everybody's video. Right? So I have all these things just to keep it running. So yeah. Next tip, be clear on the instructions. So with say a live training or a live meeting, if a person is not clear, you can get lots of nonverbal feedback. That is very hard virtually, right? Even if you have your video on, you're kind of a tiny person on the screen. If you have no video on, there's no feedback coming. So one of the things I've learned is, number one, to be very clear on the instructions. That would mean verbally saying it, putting it on the screen, repeating it 3 times. One of the things I also found out recently is that the internet quality has degraded significantly because everybody's at home watching Netflix or YouTube or some other thing. So things cut in and out all the time. So be very, very clear, repeat instructions at least 3 times. Last one, create lots and lots of feedback loops, right? One of the things that my mentor told me was meet people where they are. So just in today's session, we've created multiple feedback loops, right? There's ability for you to say something on Zoom. There's ability for you to say something in the chat. There's ability for you to ask a question on Slido, right? So these are the 3 feedback loops here. All right, so that's all I have, right? So if you have any questions, please, ask it in Slido, and then I'll hand the time over to Jerome. All right, you're next, buddy.
Maybe you can, I have a question on Slido that's related to Zoom. How do you change your virtual background in Zoom? So maybe you can, you can just show it.
Okay. So for those who don't know, this is a virtual background. Like, this is obviously not my view. So if you go to settings, yeah, you can see settings under virtual background. Okay, I'm gonna move to my study. There you go. So I do have a green screen. Look at that magic. Yeah, so that's a green screen. All right.
So you can find it. You can find it also near to sharing your video. You have a mute and stop video. You have a little arrow near to video, and you can click normally on choose virtual background. It's a shortcut.
Cool. All right. You ready?
Yep, I am ready. So I put my 7 minutes.
I don't know why there's this like green squiggle on the line now. I don't know how to get rid of it. Anyway.
Hello. My name is Jerome. I obviously coming from France, but I'm living in Singapore. When Say asked me if I want to participate to this panel, I was thinking like, what can I bring from my past? And I will bring you something about web performance, which was my past technical work. So currently, we are seeing that from tips, internet is slow. Yes and no. First tips I have to give you, if you do an important session, if you have to do some important workshop, reboot your computer. So it's sometimes not the internet which is slow, it's just your computer which is open for many, many days. And especially in remote, you forget to reboot it. So for important session, first things, reboot your device. Second things for the session, try to disconnect all the remote notification you have on your computer, which is consuming also a little bit of bandwidth on your computer. So the thing is about important to understand with the devices is also all the devices you have at home. So it means that your internet may be slow because your family is streaming or downloading or updating their devices or like updating all the iPhone with all the app. So currently, when you work from home, the best thing is to manage yourself your updates and put everything in manual, and you update when you need it. So it's avoid to have, for example, like a friend last week, a PS4, which is updating the entire system during a meeting, and he cannot access to the video on his side. So first tips, like take care about your device. Second tips, Wi-Fi is bad. So basically, if you can connect with a cable, this is the best solution to have a proper internet connection. The thing is, without being too technical, Wi-Fi, you share multiple frequency with your neighbors, and basically all your router you have at home, it's the first with, we have one guy raising the hand, I want to speak, okay, you, and after you, and after you, and after you. So it's using Wi-Fi may just make your connection more slower. So if you cannot, you need to check a little bit on internet, like how to choose the right channel, because you have multiple frequencies. So it's a little bit more technical, but if you can, avoid Wi-Fi. Same, if you work for a company and you have some VPN and everything, but you need to do a meeting and that do not require actually to be working with tools inside your company, that requires a VPN, please do not activate the VPN. Just to give you an example of a famous car and engine company based in the UK, their VPN all over the world redirect all the traffic in UK. So basically, if you are in Malaysia, you connect to this VPN, you always go to UK for whatever. So in fact, you're just doing thousands and thousands and thousands of kilometers for nothing. So VPN, if you work in this kind of company, it's also tips for the people which are working with you. If you don't need to access to some data in the company, please do not connect on the VPN. The last thing which is on this is understanding the overall context of internet. So there is multiple time zones that wake up and go to sleep all over the time, and some important things you need to take into account when is the best time to do it during the day. So we know, for example, that in Asia, the internet on the morning is better than on the afternoon, because around like 2 to 3, you have Europe waking up and you're slowly adding more user on the services. So taking care about these factors is also important to place important meeting in your agenda. For example, if you put in Asia a meeting around 6 p.m., you may be facing US, Europe, and Asia at the same time. And especially during this situation, during this circuit breaker, having families which are starting to use streaming intensively at 6. So that's some reason, in fact, that may explain why you have the perception of internet is slow. Some of them are your side, some of them are external factors. And the second thing I wanted to speak is about psychological safety. I will just give you a few tips. Just checking time, yes. Just give you a few tips, which is helping for people which are not comfortable by staying at home all the time. The first tips is get it out. Speak with your mouth. If you keep everything in your head, you will get crazy. So there is actually a developer technique from Dave Thomas, I think, which is a rubber duck. And it's, in fact, when you have a problem, you speak to a rubber duck. Or you can speak to any other totem. You can speak to a plush, to whatever, but getting it out will help you, in fact, to first formalize your problem. And when you speak about it, you know what? By speaking out about it, you will start to find solution. So the first thing, speak out. But also, it's a good tips when you finish your day to speak out about your day with your co-locator, for example, or your family. It's good, in fact, to finish, oh, my day was like this, and this is the end of my working day. No, now I'm starting my non-working day. A small exercise I can share to you. It's coming from a design thinking exercise. It's a rose, bud, thorn exercise. I give it to the chat. So basically, when you finish an important meeting or when you finish your day, you can ask yourself some question and place it on paper. What was the highlight of my day? What did I learn, for example? Or what can I improve for tomorrow? And the last thing is, what are the things that I think that need to be seen differently? So just by finishing your day, you will be in a safety to start the other part of your life. The second point is on hygiene. So hygiene is 3 different factors. So you have mental hygiene, physical hygiene, and environment hygiene. So let's start with the physical hygiene. First, avoid the pajama syndrome. When you start to work from home, dress like if you are going to the office. So it's really important, and it's obvious, but for some people, it's really important to take a shower, for women, potentially, to dress up, to do some makeup. for men too, also if they are wearing makeup. But it's important to take care about you, like if you are going to a normal day. These things is literally important. Actually, I put perfume for you. The second thing is mental hygiene. The mental hygiene is currently you may overwork during working from home. So instead of time boxing your day, try to time pace your day. You need to listen to yourself and understand when you need a break and when you need to do mental break or physical break. An example for mental physical break, I have some Rubik cubes and I try to solve a Rubik cubes multiple times in 5 minutes. But you have other tips. You can just go to your balcony. You can do some meditation, breathing. It's important for recognize to use the signals of like when you start to lose a little bit of focus, do 5 minutes, 15 minutes break. Most important, do a power nap. A power nap is really important. Like just do 15 minutes in the calm. When you feel like the pressure is getting down and you're feeling tired, do a power nap, and 15 minutes after it will help you to continue. So mental hygiene is an important one. But these two together are linked to a third one, which is environment hygiene. So it means your workplace, like my desk here or like my flat, keep it clean. If you have a clean environment, you will have a clean mind. For me, I am a really messy person. It's helping me a lot. But the thing is like having a clean environment, following the 5S of Kaizen, you can, if you have everything which is accessible by your hand without moving during your day, is really important for your mind and your body, because you will avoid to do a bad move also, because you are not exercising a lot. So you need to eat less, you need to drink more, and you need to self-exercise a little bit more. And all of this will help you to have a better safety. Just the last point is listen to yourself. So it's a really important point, which is listening to yourself. You will identify after 1 week, in fact, let's imagine you wake up with a battery, which is your battery in the morning, and you will live a certain amount of events. And these events, either this battery will be drained by this event, either you will meet people that will charge your battery. At the first time, for 1 or 2 weeks, just note what are these events which are draining batteries and charging batteries. And when you get, when you start to listen to yourself, you will see that, oh, my battery is draining, I may need a break, and so now I'm doing a break. Or this is really important. If I speak to this person, I know that I will have full of energy later. So, okay, let's plan to discuss with this person right now. So I will be full of energy. So just like it gives you the opportunity to listen a little bit more about yourself. So that's it. That's some tips. Oh yeah, and I see in the chat, yes, I am doing breaks playing PS4 with One Piece Pirate Warrior 4. And it's really interesting just to play for 10 minutes, that when I am a little bit angry, I destroy 2,000 pirates, and after I get better. Thank you.
All right, cool. Thanks, Jerome. If you have any questions, you can ask him now or put them in Slido. And then, okay, I'll hand over time to Gui. You're up.
All right. Z and Jerome added a lot of very, very good points. So hopefully I try to contribute something here. I want to take time to acknowledge that the situation that we are in is not normal, right? It's happening because of COVID-19, which is a pandemic, and everybody is working remotely because of this pandemic. So again, I want to take time to acknowledge that this is not a regular work remotely situation. If there's a time that needs us to show more compassion and empathy, I think this is the time we do it, right? People are working from home with their families, their partners, their children, and maybe even with their parents. So I think when we interact with all our colleagues day to day, it's good to keep that in mind. Like now, every day I'm having calls with a lot of activities, right? Like Aswandi is holding his daughter right now. Yeah, there are children at the background, and I think that's fine, right? The main thing I aim for during the course is I aim for not making my colleagues feel guilty for being a parent, right? So one example is recently I had a meeting with a colleague of mine, and she had an emergency. She had to take her daughter to the clinic because her daughter's ears was bleeding. I was like, yeah, go ahead, right? Family first. Family comes first. Like, we'll reschedule when you get back, and yeah, don't worry about it. I think this ties back to the psychological safety that Jerome talks about, right? When you have everything at home well, then you're able to focus on work. So that's one thing I always aim for. Even now, like especially with the movement restriction now in Malaysia, right? Grocery shopping can only happen within a certain period of time. And I always tell the engineers that I support, hey, go ahead. Just let the team know if you need to go out for grocery shopping. Take 1 or 2 hours, it's fine. As long as you let the team know, right? No worries about that. And a lot of things just take more time now. Even eating takes more time now. You have to cook and you have to clean up. It's not as easy as going out and eating anymore, right? So I think that comes with a lot of understanding we need to show to our colleagues. Connecting with people is very important as well, right? We're no longer in office. There's no coffee breaks. There's no water cooler chat. It's very hard to have very organic conversations. Communication just takes more effort now. So a lot of times you have to be more deliberate in terms of like having casual chats. So there's this rule I have with some of the squads that I work with. So we usually wait 5 minutes for everyone to join. Right? Someone comes late, we'll wait for 5 minutes. If they don't join by then, we'll just start. So during these 5 minutes, we tend to have a lot of casual chat right now. So last week, a lot of us was talking about, yeah, we hope the MCO gets lifted soon. We really want to visit our barbers, need to get a haircut, or our fabulous hairstyle is growing right now. So that was quite fun to reconnect with everybody on a very casual and personal layer. Communication. Over-communicate. Over-communicate. Definitely over-communicate. Have I mentioned to over-communicate? I think something I mentioned earlier is that a lot of communication remotely happens more deliberate now. Right? During the first retro we had when we worked remotely, a lot of us talk about, right, it's not as easy to reach out to other colleagues anymore. Because it's not like you can just reach out next to you and like, I need something, I need another pair of eyes on. Can you help me take a look at it? That sort of thing. There's a lot more deliberation when it comes to, okay, can we meet later? Can we do a pairing later? Can we share our screen? Want to quickly look at some things? And there's a lack of body language as well, right? For example, even in this call right now, like not everybody's opening their camera, and that's fine. Like even in calls I join every day, not everyone is showing their face. There's a lack of body language, and that's totally all right. It's just that because of this, we have to be more deliberate in communication. We have to over-communicate what's our expectation, what we are thinking, and that sort of thing. So communication will take time, and that's all right. I don't know what it will look like when COVID finally settles, but it definitely won't be the normal that we look at. Sorry, the normal that we think it will be. Right? A lot of things are changing right now, and probably will stay changed even after the COVID incidents has settled. Z, I'm not sure whether you're going to share the slides later, but I do link some things on the slide, some links that probably some of you can take a look.
I will send out links to the slides.
All right, cool. So one of them is actually a website that contains self-care apps for remote work. Like for example, if you, there are apps like that reminds you to drink water, or that reminds you not to sit for too long, and that sort of thing. I think when we're working remotely, self-care is very important, and it's very important for team dynamics as well. Pair programming screen. So it's something I've been trying with the engineers I work with day to day as well. Like because we used to pair a lot physically in the office, but now because we remotely, we can't find a good pairing tool. And screen actually, when the COVID incident escalated, they actually put their main tier as free tier, and so we tried out. It's very, very useful. You can draw on the other person's screen and all. There was a time where we were looking for something, and I accidentally took entire control of the person I was pairing with, yeah, I was scrolling through their browser, unfortunately. So from then on, we decided just to use the highlighter to draw on the screen. That'll be the best thing. Yeah, I'd like to share a few talks that I've been listening to as well. So there's this conference that's called Lead Dev. They're actually more on engineering leadership. And recently, they used to do on-site conferences in New York, in Berlin. And with their most recent one, I think was actually last week, they did a live virtual event. And a lot of their topics were surrounding on all this working remotely, team dynamics in remote, psychological safety, capacity, and that sort of thing. So they've made their videos public. So I think definitely go take a look. A lot of the tips and points I'm sharing here, a lot of them come from there, actually. Yeah, I think that's about it.
All right, thank you, Gui. So one of the things that I mentioned earlier was there's this concept of breakout, right? So typically how you would do group meetings or training is we'll see people around tables, and then that's how you would have a table discussion, right? With a few people around you in that physical space. So that's a lot more difficult to do virtually. So one of the things I want to have you experience is the breakout room, the Zoom breakout room. So what I'm gonna do is there's 20. I'm just gonna take a look at the participants list real quick. So we have 23, well 22 because one of them's my iPad. So I'm gonna split all of us into groups of, let's see, 5. Okay, I'll split it into I'll split into 5 rooms. So there'll be about 4 or 5 people per room. So before we do that, I just want to share the topic, right? You can talk about anything you want, but if you want to, start a conversation going, the topic I'm offering to you is what are the differences and challenges in working remotely, right? So you can use that as a conversation starter. So one of the things before we do the breakout is do consider turning on your video, right? Because if you're going to have a conversation with 4 other people, it'd be good if they can see you. You may want to see each other, but again, like what Gui said, is you don't have to. But just encourage that you do so. So before we go into the breakouts, I'm going to give you 10 minutes for the breakouts. So before we do that, are there any questions around the breakouts or anything else before we go into those breakouts?
Gee, how does it end? Do you pull us back?
Okay. So what will happen is once I press the button for the breakouts, you will all go into your separate rooms. I've set it such that Zoom will just kind of pick whoever goes into whatever rooms, and then I can send you messages that you will see pop up in Zoom. So about 2 minutes before the end of the breakout, so 8 minutes in, I'll just send you a message that says, hey, you got 2 more minutes. And then at the end of 10 minutes, Zoom will just pull everybody back into this meeting room. You okay?
Cool. Yep.
Cool. Okay. All right. So I'm going to press the button and you'll be put in your breakout rooms. I'll see you back here in 10 minutes. Hey, Shibu.
Crazy.
Yeah, there's supposed to be more people here.
I know. There's one person joined and he just left.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. That's why I joined. I joined in yours.
No worries.
All right. I'm just having a quick.
Okay.
Uh,
Joining in. Okay. I guess
I'm
people are
trying to
just
see who's in what
finding.
room. And then, oh, I gotta set the timer. I haven't set the timer.
Hey, Zoo, how do you say your name? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
All right, Zoo.
Yeah, Zoo, Zoo. Okay, can hear you now. Cool.
Right. So I'll leave you guys to start the discussion first. I'm just gonna keep an eye on who's in what breakout room.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Zoo, where are you from?
Ampang.
Pang. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm on Puchong side. Z is still KL?
Yeah, I've been Shalom actually.
Shalom. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I haven't left in a while.
So do you actually come for any of our Agile Malaysia meetings?
I did once with
Okay.
yeah, I met you.
Oh.
In I think it was like in Bangsa or something.
Okay.
Yeah. There was
It's
like
what's the building where we have in Bangsar? Where
yeah, UOA something.
UA Bangsar. Okay.
Yeah. What was it? What was the shop?
The old town.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, Andrea is our
that's
regular.
right.
Yeah, Andrea.
I remember, yes. That was
That was the host.
Yeah, she's not well today, so otherwise she would have joined.
Oh, caught up with Xander.
Yep. Dino mom.
So how
Little,
how's your
little
life?
dino.
Yeah. How have your lives changed?
I've been working from home. I mean, because I'm a student actually, if you remember.
Right.
Yeah, the postgrad student. So since my husband got got a stroke, so I've been working from home
Oh, okay.
since. Yeah.
Classes are all online right now. Is it okay or?
I'm doing PhD, so it's as
It's-
flexible as I just go and meet my supervisors when I need to.
Oh, more flexible for you then. That's it.
Yeah.
Cool. See one more person joining.
Oh, hello, Delia.
How is your screen from your side, Z?
My screen.
Yeah. How does it look like? I mean, you can see all the rooms or
Oh, yeah.
the virtual rooms or
Yeah.
I can actually see the list. I'm trying to take a picture.
Can you actually? I wanted to ask. Can you actually like push people into the specific rooms that you want?
Yes. So I saw that.
he has the power.
Organizer. So I saw that Delia joined in late after we were in.
Okay. No, because sometimes when we organize the breakouts, right, you want to actually place people in separate rooms. So I just wanted to know if you can do it.
Yeah, you can do it manually or automatic.
Okay.
So I'm going to be doing a live online training next week using Zoom. So I'm really going through all the features and learning how to use them.
Oh, that's good.
It's more stressful than the
regular.
Have you tried any other tools? I mean, any other software?
Yeah, so I've used Skype for Business.
Skype, okay.
WebEx, GoToMeeting.
GoToMeeting, Zoom. Like Zoom has the best experience from a participant point of view.
Okay.
It's really seamless and it's really easy to get into. On the organizer side, the UI is really messy. So I find that a lot of times I misclick stuff or where did this go or that go. So it's very powerful, but it's just it's still a little bit unwieldy. Yeah.
Especially when you're sharing and you're presenting as well. Like your video is there and then you're presenting.
Yeah.
So there's multiple screens and like you're like, okay, where is the stuff that I need?
Yeah.
Because it goes into the top bar, right? And it's kind of hidden.
So annoying. That top bar is one of the worst things ever.
So if you wanted a third screen, Z, like, do you log in as a separate? Like you showed the iPad, you log in as a second person, right?
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna test out this week, right? Is I'm actually just gonna use my phone.
Okay.
Put it on a tripod because I got a tripod somewhere. I gotta fish it out, and then logged in as a participant on my phone, and then put it on top of my webcam. So
Okay.
that Jerome gave me, so that at least it looks like I'm speaking into the camera. Because
Right.
right now, if I'm looking at the screen, it looks like I'm not meeting eye contact, right? But then if I look in the camera, it looks like I can't see the screen.
Do you have an extra monitor?
I am running my laptop, my monitor.
Okay.
So this laptop I have, I don't have the dongle that allows it to do 2 external, so I can only do 1 external.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm basically use my laptop, my external monitor, my iPad, and probably my phone.
The phone. Yeah.
4 screens.
Well, welcome to virtual connectivity.
Yeah, this
The
is
new normal.
now I can understand why people who do live events, right? They have 3 monitors easily, at least 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I met this guy. He has 6 monitors because
Gosh.
he does online trading. He does online trading training.
Oh, then you really need that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got 6 monitors going.
Wow.
Online trading training. All right.
So anyway, no, my desk is not big enough for so many monitors. First world problems.
And Delia, where are you from?
Hello everyone. I'm from
Hello.
Indonesia.
So just to let you know what's going on.
Yes.
We're right now in a breakout session, so there's about 22 people in tonight's meetup, but we're actually in a small group discussions at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. So the topic of conversation is kind of how has working remotely changed? How has it changed your life, and what are the challenges that you face?
Okay. So are we now in the small group area and we are going to discuss about that, or?
Yeah. So we've been discussing. Yeah, you can discuss anything, but there's only about 2.5 minutes left before we go back.
Okay. I'm sorry because I think I misread the timing. It is stated that it is Malaysia time zone and I thought it is Indonesian time zone. So I made a mistake on that. And this is also like my first time experience joining this session. So yeah, I'm sorry.
We have the recording after this, so you can.
Okay, all right.
That's what I'm learning is I'm so used to doing the Malaysia time, but now because it's a webinar or online meetup, I need to put
the different times.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Z, have you used Quip before? Quip, QIP.
No, I've not.
Okay, it's one of the Salesforce tools that they actually have for document, like online documents. Just like Google, the sheets, all that.
Oh, Quip,
stuff.
QUIP.
Yeah,
Quip.
QIP, right? Now it's kind of like free, right? It's tied. You can tie to your Google account. So I've been like using that for like online trainings. Like, and if you want to give assignments, you can embed stuff into it. It's pretty nice. Like you can live working during training. You can go on type all those stuff. Like it's pretty useful. Salesforce uses that a lot.
Yeah.
So I've seen like a number of people have been using that right now. I think it's kind of, you do get a free account for, like, you can try it out.
Just because I looked at it really early on. Sorry, I just need to type a message. I looked at it. I think before, just right after it got bought by Salesforce.
Salesforce, right, yeah. Initially, I thought it was paid. I think there's still paid versions for it for like advanced features, but the basic one, I think we can live with the free version. I just recently signed up. I was able to use that for my online trainings that I do. And then we were just like I could just put assignment stuff. It's all linking, right? You can even put like your participants, their passwords, their username, credentials, everything, and it's a live document. You can keep on updating it. It's pretty useful.
Interestingly, I think it'd be nice to get all the online trainers in just to share tips.
Yes.
I'm really.
Yeah.
I'm to be honest, I'm beginner level right now. So I'm super stressed about next week.
Maybe after that you can share some more tips. I'm sure you'll get a lot from that.
Okay, we got 1 minute left before I bring everybody back in.
Oh.
Do you see that? Do you see the 1 minute?
Yes,
Yeah.
The top.
Where? Oh, there. Okay.
You need to get used to the screen.
Yeah.
For the poll, see, you were able to see all the results in your screen, right? And then you can just publish it.
Yes. So one of the things I did was I created the poll early. earlier on so that during the meeting I can just launch it. So I
Post
don't
it and launch it. Yeah.
you can create a poll in the moment, or you can create it before the meeting.
Got it. Got it.
So
Okay.
it's really nice that if you can kind of create polls when you know you want to deliver it, then you just kind of launch it there and then. I haven't tried multiple polls yet, but from the quick look at Zoom, I think you can create multiple polls, but I gotta verify that. So the problem with Zoom is that is that a lot of the features are half done.
The cake's ready.
Okay, so I'll see you back in the main room.
All right. Cool. All right. Sounds good.
Okay, let's walk. Da 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 da.
Okay, we're back. Oh, I still see the poll results. Z, you're on mute.
Yeah, that's the second time it's happened to me. After the breakout, it mutes everybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I forgot to unmute myself as an organizer.
I think Jerome and Goy are like so much caught up into conversation they don't want to come back.
That actually happens quite a lot with breakouts.
Oh, there you go.
How many can join for one session, Z? What's
So
the maximum?
I think it's 500 is like the.
Oh, that's a lot. So
yeah, I think the maximum Zoom supports is like 100 or 200 for the free and the pro tier, and then if you want more, you got to pay more.
Yeah, 250, I think. For the free
The
version.
paid version,
Oh,
the
okay.
first paid version, you have, I think it's 300 or 1,000. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, you don't go to that. But you have there's a license on Zoom for conference, so you can have conference. It is very different, but the normal one is enough.
Yeah.
Is Zoom the right platform to use right now?
But Zoom is the only platform that doesn't have a central server system. All the others have central server. All the communication needs to go to the center, then is broadcast to everyone. And Zoom is like a peer system where you have communication. So even if you have a low bandwidth, it works. It's still working. We have video and like this. A thing like this, if you go with TeamSpace, it's not going to work. Skype doesn't accept this too. Having people all around the world is not going to work at all.
Yeah, and just on Zoom, right? If you look at most of the security issues, I think half of it is actually around the installer for some reason.
No, but on the security issue, the guys from Zoom, they fixed most of the issue. So all the things that we're saying, it's already fixed. Like the thing is that if people are taking pictures, they're taking screenshot, and you will see on the top of your browser, you will see the ID of your event, and this ID would be used to enter on a fake event of like this. So that was one issue. They remove it. When you're searching for bring people, now you see just the people that are on your company, and that's all, or you're on contact list, not other people. So they remove all the issue that people were complaining. So now it's fine. But it's true, a lot of government or company around the world, they say, you should not use anymore Zoom. It's not secure and whatever other things. So.
Yeah, only added the security feature. Like I can see that when I log into Zoom, like you can go and make your room secure as well. So no issues.
Yeah, you cannot have anymore a room without password.
Yep.
And if you don't have password, you go to the waiting room.
Correct. Yep.
Alex, I agree with you. Nice to see you here. Actually, I wasn't expecting you to. nice to see you again.
Nice to meet you.
I think that the challenges that Zoom have been facing are temporary challenges, and with the resources that they can put behind it, I'm sure that they can resolve those challenges. My company recently subscribed to Zoom and Zoom webinars, and we're planning to use it moving forward for our virtual trainings and our virtual coaching. So unless specific clients tell us that, hey, you know what, we'd prefer you not to use Zoom. We'd prefer you to use our corporate standard. Then we will use whatever they prefer us to use. But our de facto will be Zoom from at least for the near future.
Yes. So on that note, let's segue into Q&A. Right. So go to Slido. You can kind of put in the questions, upvote it, downvote it.
Slido.
I gotta hang on. I gotta go to Slido on my phone now because I want to see what you all see. So with the Q&A, I would say anybody feel free to answer those questions. Okay. So I'm also gonna join on my phone so I see what you see.
Oh, to minimize it.
So you see, this goes back to my earlier tip around every digital tool you add, it just adds complexity. And I'm really feeling that at the moment. Okay. Okay.
I got a notification that I cannot use the the virtual background because my iOS is not updated.
Oh.
Something like that.
Yeah. iOS devices on with Zoom on iOS, you can still use the virtual background, but you can't do that on Android. So yeah. Okay. So I'm just looking at the questions. I'm just gonna go and read out questions.
The questions where?
Okay. There's one around Paul. You asked about virtual backgrounds. I think we shared that earlier. Someone asked, what is the universe? The answer is 42. If you ever read Hitchhiker's Guide, 42 is the answer to everything. Someone asked, okay, why Slido for questions and not Zoom Q&A or chat? So part of why I want to demonstrate Slido was just to create some awareness around a tool that I've used previously. The other thing that's nice with Slido is you can upvote questions, right? So I'm just gonna go and type in a question. Right, so I've just asked a question, and the question says, please upvote me, question mark. So could you just all go ahead and hit that thumb button? Right, so you can see it kind of floats to the top, right? So if you have large groups of people and use Slido, this is a way to make it interactive, number one. The other thing is because of the upvote, the questions which most people are interested in floats to the top. So Zoom can't really do that. The other thing with Zoom is that if lots of people are chatting, then the questions kind of flow up to the top, and then you may miss it as the organizer. Okay. Someone asked, Jerome, there's a question for you. Jerome, you destroyed 2000 what? Smiley face.
Pirates. Like pirates. Like not nice sailors.
Oh, okay. Pirates. Someone asked, is it safe to use Zoom now? I think that was something that Alex, you were addressing.
Yeah, I think yes. I think now it's safe. All the major problem that people come out are now fixed. You cannot enter anymore in an event if you don't know the ID. The main problem was that before, if you were looking in the URL, you could see the ID of the event. Now it's not anymore the case. So that's a good thing. You don't have on your screen the ID. So if you take a print screen and you put on Facebook, no one can say, oh, here, this event, I can take the ID and I can enter and do any shit inside. That's not working anymore. You have, if you don't have, if you've not been invited, if you just enter the ID, you go directly on what they say, a waiting room. So people cannot enter if you don't want to enter. Now they try to tend to to ask the people to put a password for entering the room. Yeah, they put in place some security stuff, so it's very neat. I think now it's good. The security is done. And anyway, like any tools, you're not supposed to talk about secret stuff somewhere because some way people are listen, some government are listen what we say. So
Yes.
if you're very pessimist.
Yes. Thank you, Alex, for that. Paul asks, did I mention Miro or Mural? So Paul, that is Miro. M-I-R-O, previously known as real-time board. So I've used Mural as well. They kind of have plus and minuses. I'm just more comfortable with real-time board because I think it's the more mature product at the moment. It's also more expensive because it's more mature.
Yeah,
Thanks, thanks, Z.
Yeah, I can add something on Miro. Can I add something for Miro?
Go ahead.
So today Miro had they add one options is that you can invite people in anonymous way, so you can add many people on your room and not paying more on your board of Miro board, but they're anonymous. So you need to put your board public, and then it means people can enter and work on it, but in anonymous way. If you need to have the name, you need to pay. For example, me, the license I'm paying, it's $8 per month. And so if I want to have like my student work on it, because I'm using this for giving my trainings, or we did a PI planning just last week with one team, we paid $3 for 24 hours per person.
The day pass, right?
Yeah, the day pass. But if you don't need the name, you want to accept anyone to come, you put public and it's anonymous and it's free.
Yeah, I think that's worth sharing right now. So so I'm actually a huge proponent of Miro. Let me see if I can just quickly bring that up.
Yeah, share the screen. Yeah.
Give me a second.
So new. Everything's like new to us. Me at least.
Yeah. Okay. So this is Miro, M-I-R-O. So it's like you know, there was like Jamboard earlier. This is kind of Jamboard with 100 more features. So
see, have you used this for story mapping?
Yes.
Is it quite good?
It's the best tool I've used. Okay, so there are other tools for story mapping, like Stories on Board. But the thing about Miro is that it's super flexible, right? So if I can zoom
on the free version.
Yeah, I think you can. You can.
Okay.
Yeah, on the free version, you can do this too.
Awesome.
The main things you can not do on the free version is to connect Miro with your issue tools like Jira,
okay.
Asana, or whatever any tools.
Got it.
Okay.
Can you collaborate with your team members on this one? Yeah.
Oh yes.
Of course. Yeah. Have many people together working together.
Nice.
Even the free version. I mean, is there a limitation of how many can collaborate?
You can have only it's 5 people. The free version it's 5 people.
So it's okay.
And it's 3 boards.
Yeah.
They extended it to 11. They extended it to 11 people and I think 5 boards.
Oh, for COVID.
Be careful, but be careful. You need to unregister them after, because if you make it public and some people are connecting and so on, so the limitation of people connecting with an account on it, it's entirely for all the board all together. So it's not like 11 per board, it's 11 with your account.
Yeah, so you can see it's super flexible. It's huge. There's like massive amounts of space, right? And then you can zoom in all the way down to like small little details. Yes, I see online there's quite a few real-time board users. Yeah, I see my old team members there. So we are pretty heavy users of Miro previously. It's an amazing product. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna go back and check on the questions.
What's my Jamboard?
Naveed asked the question on, does Slido have integrations with other platforms? Yes, it does. Well, you can embed it in Google Slides. You can embed it in PowerPoints. Some of it are free, some of it are paid.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. I see that.
I have a question about. Do you guys have you checked out Zoho? Like the CRM and the Zoho platform. It's like a one. I think they have a free version, but the good ones are paid. But if your company is paying, that's good option.
Right. Okay. Cool. Another option.
Don't pay by yourself. Get your company to pay. Or your client, whatever.
Okay, so I see that there are no more kind of unanswered questions on Slido other than okay, which came first, chicken or egg? Anybody want to take that?
DNA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chicken.
All right, I think that those are all the questions.
So we're gonna get the slides from you, right?
Yes, I'll send it out. So just curious, who joined here from Facebook? You can just kind of.
Me. Why?
Who joined in from PTEX?
I joined from PTEX.
Ah, cool. Okay. So I'll put it on. I'll send out a PTEX message and I'll also put it on Facebook. So at least wherever you join from, you'll get access to the links. And then I've recorded this session,
great.
so I'll kind of clean it up and then eventually put it on somewhere. So at least you can share it, watch it again, etc.
Yeah, I'll try to just leave my, if anybody wants to connect with me, just my LinkedIn on the thread, just if anybody wants to connect.
Oh yeah, so let's do that. So we've come to the last slide. So what I'll do is whoever wants to connect, you can kind of put your LinkedIn into the chat. I'll leave it open, and then when you're done, you want to say goodnight, just say goodnight and leave, and stay safe.